you guys that are on. Okay, so thanks you guys for making the time to be on tonight. Am very excited about this. This idea came from Elena actually because she was really trying to. I think she's a good business sense of what's going on, and I do think that it is something for good reasons. It is something that maybe our team does not know a lot about, is kind of the numbers aspect of this business and how to move your business forward and kind of how to like think about it from that business standpoint. So with that being said, I do have a lot to share with you guys, so I'm going to go ahead and jump right in. But I'm excited to see, I see lots of like newer faces. So I see Katie's on, and she's kind of a newer coach. We've got Krista on. So thank you to those that are hopping on that are kind of newer. We're excited to have you. We've got Paige like cleaning up. She's always like doing all kinds of stuff. She makes her time wise. But anyways, before I get started, and I do have some slides to share with you guys, but before we get started, I just want to say like kind of why this matters. And like, first of all, like none of this matters. None of these numbers, none of like rank advancement, income, anything like that matters at all if your heart is not in the right place. And so I wanted to start from that place because I feel like we do have a team where our heart is in the right place. I don't know if I've ever had a conversation with a coach where their first reason that they wanted to do this was a financial reason. Almost every person talks about having this pull to do something bigger with their life, or they want to help people, or they want to kind of pay it forward of what they've experienced. So none of this matters unless your heart's in the right place and you have that focus on people and relationships, which I have a strong sense that we do. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and move forward. You guys do probably know I've been taking, my husband and I have been taking the financial peace class that Dave Ramsey puts out. And so I have a couple of statistics from that. And he said that the number one reason of divorce in North America is money fights. Because I am going to talk a little bit about money tonight. And if you have one fight a week about money, that you are 2 times more likely to end up in a divorce than a couple who does not ever fight about money or has less than one a week. And when I saw that, I was like, oh my gosh, like that's huge. And that's something that I'm okay talking about money because I know that it is deeper than that. It impacts our relationships. Even if you're not married, it will impact your future relationship hugely. With that being said, he does talk a lot about the difference between men and women. So if you're having a hard time getting your husband or a boyfriend or someone like that on board, maybe this will help you out. So men think mostly about facts, mostly, not all men, facts, data, and numbers. So the way that I kind of handle that is I talk very openly with Zach about the numbers aspect of this business. So he knows about team volume and team cycle bonuses, and he knows about every Thursday we get a paycheck, and he knows kind of the numbers aspect of this business. If I talk to him about what women care mostly about, which is emotion and feelings, he's maybe like, oh, that's really cool. I'm glad you changed that woman's life. But he's not as excited as if it were like numbers, data driven type thing. Like he's like, that's cool that you helped that one person, but how many did you help this month? And so he kind of wants that, like, as you can tell, we've got a crazy dog on cue also. Charlie, let's get down. So with that being said, I do want to encourage you to be very open with your spouses about this aspect of the business. And I think you'll see the more they know, the more they're willing to be supportive and on board with all of it. Okay, with that being said, the first thing I wanted to talk about, and I will probably screen share this so that you guys can see it, if I can find my screen share. First thing I want to talk about, someone asked about just straight up commissions. And so I took what I felt like were the most popular commissions maybe that I see most people making, and I will kind of go from there. Okay, let me make this a little bigger. Ah, okay, here we are. Okay, so this is kind of basically when you're starting out the business, this is how you're gonna see that immediate like success. So you probably won't jump straight into team cycle bonuses, which we'll talk about later, but you will see success if you are connecting women with a challenge pack or with workouts or with Shakeology or one of those things. So you can see there I have the individual product and then what the commission is. That's how much money that you would make. And then what the Success Club points are connected to that. So I just put on there real quick, 80-Day Obsession is a $60 commission. The All Access Challenge Pack is a $50 commission. BOD for 1 year is a $40 commission. So it's around 25 to 40% commission on each of these things. And then Shakeology, I did want to point out because the commission for BOD is a little bit higher, but also keep in mind that that is a one-time-a-year thing if they are not interested in any of the Shakeology or performance pack or anything like that. So even though it's like, oh, well, you know, $40, that's a great commission, that you're going to get that only one time a year. Whereas if someone is on Shakeology and let's say they do it 12 times a year, you know, that is going to be in the long term a lot of higher of a commission. So let's say that you have, you see at the bottom, I have a challenge pack plus monthly Shakeology for a year would be, you would make $412 commission versus someone who is just on Beachbody On Demand, you know, you'd make that $140 commission. So that's why I always suggest for new coaches to kind of start by trying to help 3 people, because you can see, you know, if you're helping 3 people with a challenge pack, you're going to make around $150, and that will at minimum cover the cost of your Shakeology, coach fee, whatever your startup cost was. If you're helping 3 people with the 80-Day Obsession Challenge Pack, that's $180 that month. And so I think that whenever you're setting goals and you're wanting to help people, it is good to connect those to your personal financial goals that you have also. So if you help 3 people in your first month, that's $180-ish. If you help another 3 people the next month, you would still get that $180 from those challenge packs. Plus, hopefully you would have your girls on Shakeology again, which would be $96. So it just kind of gives you an idea of like how to break things down, which would end up with $276 that second month. So imagine if you start off and you make that in your first month, this in your second month, and then you kind of move on from there. It's going to be pretty awesome. So one thing, a numbers thing I always want to go over is coach status. And this is going to be, I'm going to do this really quickly because I feel like most of us know this. But if you want to stay just an active coach, or if you want to keep a spouse as an active coach, it is 50 personal volume. They just added that apparel does count towards this. I noticed that there is a really cute pineapples tank top that's like 23 personal volume. So if you're ever like struggling with it, it doesn't have to be Shakeology to keep you as an active coach. Plus the $15 coach office fee. So it is a total of $65 total to stay as an active coach. If you are wanting to be an active coach and hit Success Club, it does raise it a little bit more, and that is 90 personal volume on Home Direct. So you have to have something on Home Direct that is worth 90 personal volume. And I'll hit on personal volume here a little bit, plus the $15 coach office fee. So it's about $105 to stay active and hit Success Club. If you're hitting Success Club, you will be earning those commissions though also, obviously. So that cost will definitely be covered within that first month. I always, and I suggest my coaches to always keep their Shakeology Home Direct through their personal business center, because some people will open up maybe their husband, they'll sign their husband up or something like that. And I always use that as kind of like their play account. and always encourage you to keep your Shakeology, because I know for sure that's 90 personal volume. Always keep that through your business account. Okay, so you might be thinking, PV, like what in the world is that? That is just your personal volume. So it's any product or membership service. So Beachbody On Demand does count as that you purchase, or any product or membership service that is purchased under you. Okay, so let's say you do have a month where you're kind of struggling and you have your Shakeology through you, and maybe your husband has a coach account, and you're like, oh my goodness, like we can't do the extra 50 personal volume this month. Well, I would suggest trying to find some people that are interested in Beachbody On Demand. Like if you have 2 people order Beachbody On Demand through you, you'll see at the bottom that BOD is 38 personal volume. So 2 BOD memberships would keep your husband active, and he would earn a $90 or an $80 commission on top of that. So kind of keep that in mind, that if it's something that you are like, okay, this month I am committed to having 2 people sign up with Beachbody On Demand, you don't get any Success Club points for that. So that is always something that you could funnel through a spouse if you need to. So I am going to go ahead and move off of that because I can't really see you guys if you're asking any questions, but I didn't see any just yet. So any questions so far on staying active or on commissions or anything like that? Otherwise, I'm going to kind of move ahead. Awesome. I see April writing frantically lots of notes. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on. The rest is going to be more about building a team. So that's kind of all you need. Like if you are just planning on helping people, you don't plan on ever building your own team or anything like that, like those are kind of the 2 main things that you need to know. What gets a little bit more complicated for people is when they're ready to start building their team, which I will go over here in a little bit. But building a team is a long-term game is what I want to call it. You're not going to make a quick buck when you hit Emerald. You probably won't even make a huge, substantial amount of money extra whenever you hit Diamond. So if you're thinking, oh my gosh, these girls that hit Diamond, like they have to be making like crazy amounts of money. Well, maybe. It kind of depends on how successful their team is. Maybe not. So with that being said, I'm going to kind of draw back a little bit. Emerald Coach means that you have 2 coaches. Oh my goodness, I forgot to bring my whiteboard. I'll have to get that when we get there. So that means you have 2 coaches. And I'll talk here in a little bit about how you can do that and how you can do that quickly. But you start getting $14 a cycle. And so I'll talk about cycles here in a little bit. But right now you just need to know Emerald Coach, you have 2 coaches that are yours. That's $14 a cycle. I'm going to completely skip over Ruby because I have maybe had like 2 girls hit Ruby ever. Most of them jump straight from Emerald to Diamond. So for Diamond, you need a total of 8 coaches on your team. And I'll talk here in a little bit about what that looks like. And it is $18 a cycle. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about why. Like, why would you even be interested in building a team? Like, is that really for you? Is that something that you're interested in? Maybe not the number 1 reason, but the one thing that you're going to see a year from now, 2 years from now, is these team cycle bonuses. And I'll break those down here in a little bit. But also you can help more people. So this month, I have helped a total of 10 new women. Our team, as of Monday, has helped a total of 110 new women. Okay, so do you see how if I was like, oh, I'm just going to help women, like I'm not going to ever build a team, it's never going to be something I want to do, there's 100 women out there that would have never been helped had I started this team, okay? Because I'm going to just assume that none of you guys would have ever joined another coach or, one of my coaches, but that's probably not the case. But do you see how that ripple effect, like, if you are that Pearl personality and you're like, oh, I just want to help people. Well, if you want to amplify helping people, build a team, because then they can help even more people. Okay, With that, you also get free customers from Beachbody. So on average a month, I get 1 to 3 free customers that literally just show up in my business. I don't know who they are. They usually don't want to talk to me. They usually don't want to join my groups, but they are my customers, and they just either signed up from beachbody.com or they signed up without a coach, something like that. Another huge part with rank advancements is it helps our team as a whole so much. We have a lot of girls who are shooting for diamond or who are shooting for different things. And whenever you help your coach by rank advancing, that helps our entire team. So keep that in mind also. So you might be thinking like, okay, well, who might be these people that would help me get to this rank advancement? One person is definitely your spouse, and we'll talk here in a little bit about that. Maybe a friend, a parent. My mom was one of my coaches whenever I was shooting for diamond because I didn't even know my husband yet at the time. Maybe you have customers that are on Shakeology already. Like, talk to them about coaching or talk to them about if they're interested in the discount. Okay. Let's break it down of what this actually looks like though, because it's harder to envision unless you get to see it. So I'm going to only go over Emerald and Diamond because the other ones are just building off of that. So Emerald, you'll see that you have you and you're at the top, and you have one coach that you signed up on your left leg, and you have one coach that signed up on your right leg. Okay, so everybody has 2 legs. I don't know why they call them legs, to be honest with you, but you have a left and you have a right. So to be Emerald, you have one coach on your left, one coach on your right leg. It's really, really simple and basic. If you ever have questions about, oh my gosh, where should I put this coach? Message your coach and she can help you out with it, okay? So if your coach signed you up, she will know where you should put one of your coaches at for sure. Okay, the next one I want to talk about is Diamond. So with that, hold on, this puppy is wanting full attention. Okay, with that, with Diamond, it gets a little bit, so remember I said that that means that you have 8 coaches. Well, those 8 coaches, you need to have 4 on your left leg and 4 on your right leg. So if you see that there, okay, it gets a little bit more in depth than that though. On your left leg, you'll see down here, one of these coaches needs to be an Emerald coach. So they need to have this, one of their coaches on their left leg, one of their coaches on their right leg. On your right leg, you need to have one of these coaches be an Emerald coach also, okay? So definitely we'll talk here in a little bit some strategy of how to make that happen. And with that, hold on one second. Let me see if this puppy will maybe go outside. Okay. With that being said, I would highly recommend that you write out your downline and you have it. So I don't know if I might stop share this so you guys can see this, but if you can see this board, I have all of my girls that are shooting for Diamond. Oh, you can't really see it with the light. I have all of them written up there. So all I did was I wrote like Paige, I put her at the top, and then I wrote her 4 coaches that she has on her right leg over here, and I have her 7 coaches that she has over here, and then I just put a star by the one that she has Emerald, and then those coaches that do have one coach, I just put a number 1 by them, okay? So that is how I track it. It's just simply like a list on the right, a list on the left, star by those girls who are Emerald, or a number by how many coaches they actually do have. So I try to keep track of them. I do need to keep track of it now. I usually do that on Monday, but it's just a good, I like having it in writing so that you can see it. Like if you go online, it's a little bit more confusing, but you want to keep track of who's active and who's inactive. So any questions about that? I promise, Courtney Harden, we're getting a little more in depth. I know this is all stuff that you probably know, but I have to kind of go through these basics first, for sure. Okay, let me go back to screen sharing then. Okay, so I was going to, and then Star Diamond Coach. So a couple of people have asked, like, what is a Star Diamond? So you probably saw last week that our team hit what's called 4-star diamond. So that just is a diamond coach. So I'm a diamond coach. I have at least 4 coaches on my right, 4 coaches on my left. But with that, a couple of my coaches are also diamond coaches. So a 4-star means that I have 4 diamonds that have held that diamond rank for 6 weeks. And that's what makes us a Star Diamond team. Right now, we're actually in 5-star qualifications. That means that we have 5 diamond coaches on our team that are trying to hold that 6 weeks together. Okay, so with that being said, let's get a little bit more about team cycle bonuses. And I am always an open book. I'm always willing to share where I've been and where I'm headed. So I am going to share this and then maybe make it a little bit bigger so you guys can actually see these numbers. Oop, I went a little too far. Okay, so with this being said, this kind of gives you a clue of how impactful these team bonuses can be. So if you'll see, like I have, and these are like real screenshots of my paychecks from, well, I'll kind of tell you when they were, but you can see like I have my commission, these are subscription commissions, and then this last line is where we're really wanting to look at. So I want to look at the team bonus. If you were on our call a couple weeks ago, I did share these also. So this one was when I was a diamond coach. It was, I think, 7 months into my business, maybe 8 months, somewhere around that. It was that summer after I started. So if you think about this, this is 1 week. So I would say on average, as a diamond coach, I was making about an extra $200 a month just in team bonuses. So this had nothing to do with new girls signing up or anything like that. That was just with a team bonus. So think right now, like I want you to think like, what could an extra $200 a month do for you or do for your family, do for your financial situation, all of those things. And I think at this time I had maybe 1 coach that was actually working the business. I think everybody else was discount coaches for the most part. Okay, this next one going down was, I think I had 1 or 2 diamonds on the team at that time. And if you take this weekly paycheck for the team bonus, it averaged out to about an extra $800 a month. So I want you to take a step back now and think, what could an extra $800 do for your family each month? Like that could cover a lot of people's mortgage, could definitely cover a rent. That could cover maybe 2, car payments. If you're trying to pay off your car, it could definitely, for sure, pay for student loans if you have a loan payment that you're trying to pay off. So keep in mind that these team bonuses, although they may look now, if you're an Emerald coach, maybe you're making an extra $50 a month or something like that. And you're thinking like, oh, like, is it really worth it? Like, I don't know if it's really worth it. It may not be super huge right now, but it can grow into something that is very substantial. Okay, and then this is probably the most recent. I think I took this from this last January. Also still a Star Diamond coach. I think I was like a 3-star diamond at the time. So the main thing with this though is that I have coaches that are working and you guys are duplicating this also. So I'll show how this looks like here in a little bit. But think about what would an extra $2,500 do for your family a month? Like what could you save up for? Like what kind of a trip could you make? What debt? How like a crazy amount of dent that you can make on the debt that you possibly have. So I want you to just think about this. And this is literally 3 months or 3 years into the business. It has grown to this. And I will say there were times that I looked at this and I was like, I'm not, like, because when you think about it, $14 a cycle, you're like, that's not making that big of a difference. Like, what does that mean for me? And imagine if I would have stopped there and canceled Zach's account and canceled this and, been like, well, this just isn't worth it. Because in the time, it didn't seem like it. But over time, 3 years is really not that long of a time to be working towards something, to be making $2,500 a month just in team bonuses. This is not commissions at all. So just keep in mind what the potential is with this business, because it literally like blows my mind what happens. Okay, so moving on then of like, how do you actually get a team bonus cycle? So you gain your volume. So those team bonuses came from volume, from your coaches and any coaches that are in your graphical genealogy or for full genealogy. So I want you to write those down. Write down graphical genealogy or full genealogy. Those are in your coach office, and I want you to go check them out, because I got a message tonight from one of my coaches, Tiffany, and she's like, oh my gosh, there's 2 people that are in my that are my coaches that I don't know who they are. And I was like, well, they're not technically your coaches, they're coaches on our team. And so when I say that, like, your success, like Lisa's success, even though Lisa, Lisa, not Lee, but Lisa, Elena's coach, even though she isn't my direct coach, she is still a part of all of this, okay? So keep that in mind, that it's, when I say that your success is our team's success, it really is. And this is one reason of where it is. Okay, so you get volume from either your direct coaches or from the coaches that are in your graphical genealogy. And you will know that if you go to that thing on the coach office, you can see, okay, well, who's in my graphical genealogy? It typically are coaches that have signed up after you signed up, that are on the same leg as you. Okay, so pretend for a minute that you are a diamond coach. So you are this yellow person up here. And let's say that for this week, this coming up Thursday, you had 500 volume on this leg over here, and you had 200 volume on this leg over here, your right leg, okay? So let's just pretend that right now. So we're gonna go through a little scenario of what this will look like. Okay, so to have a cycle, and I think this is the thing that most people get confused about team cycle bonuses, so I want you to write this down. For a cycle, you have to have what's called a 2-to-1 ratio. Basically, you have to take, if you can take 200 out of one leg, you have to take 100 out of the other. So obviously, we're going to take our 200 out of the leg that is higher. Okay, it always takes it out of whatever is higher, no matter if that switches each week. Most of the time they don't switch, but mine does. So if you go through one cycle, so remember we said it's $18 a cycle. If we go through one cycle, we can subtract 200 from here, subtract 100 from our right leg, okay? And we still have enough to go through a second cycle. So our second cycle, we take another 200 out, another 100, okay? Is that making sense? Can I have like a thumbs up or something that the two over here, 1 over here, that makes sense? Jessica, yes, thumbs up, good. You were getting that look of like, what? Okay, so with that, we don't have any more to take over because we used up our 200 over here. Okay, so everybody getting that? So you will have over here an extra 100 that's going to roll over. You don't lose that. It goes towards your next week. So you start out next week with 100 volume in your bank, okay? On your right leg, you don't have any. You have to start fresh for next week, okay? But one thing I want you to keep in mind, in case you're someone who kind of goes inactive or active, if you go inactive, you lose all of that volume that's been kind of racking up. Also, you don't start racking up volume until you're an Emerald coach, okay? So keep that in mind. If you are a coach right now and you're not yet an emerald, you are not racking up any volume. So let me share a little bit of a personal story. I did not become a emerald coach until I was like, goodness, way too far into my business. I think I was like 6 months into my business before I became an emerald coach because I was stubborn. And I was like, oh, I don't need to do that, whatever. I never started that like adding up volume then until I was 6 months into coaching. So there were coaches that were being signed up under me that I was literally just losing all of that volume that could have turned into team cycle bonuses eventually. And I don't know if you've noticed, but our team is doing really, really well right now. So if you are not yet an emerald coach, all of that success that our team is having, you're kind of not getting your piece of the pie from it, I guess, if you will. So just keep that in mind for sure. Okay, with that being said, with our minus, our 2 cycles on each side, this person's team bonus would have been $36 because we went through 2 cycles. We got $18 per cycle. 18 plus 18 is $36. Okay, so that just kind of evens it out. So let me give you a real life example. And this is just 3 coaches. Okay, so these are only 3 coaches 1 week. So if you'll see $18 a cycle because I'm a diamond coach. Here's a left leg, and I stole last week Courtney Harden, how much volume she had. Here's my right leg, and I took Paige, and then Amber is a new coach of mine that I grabbed from last week. So this is all like literally from Thursday through Wednesday. This is 1 week's volume. So my left leg, just from that one coach, I had 549 volume. On my right leg, just from those 2 coaches, I had over 1,000 volume. So together, I did the math, and I could do at least 5 cycles. 5 times 18 is $90. So just from those 3 coaches, 2 of them on my right leg, 1 of them on my left leg, I would get, like, out of my team bonus I got last week, $90 came from those girls' volume. Okay, so what I would do, remember I told you to write down graphical genealogy or full genealogy? I would be looking for these coaches, Paige Farr, Amber, is Megan Seals, Allison, Taylor, Lisa, Courtney, Allie. I would be checking out these coaches and say, are they in my graphical genealogy? Because if they're brand new, like Amber is really new, Allison is really new, Holly is very new. A lot of these coaches are signed up within the last couple of months, so they could possibly be in your downline, even though they're not your coaches, okay? So keep that in mind. Like, you might be thinking, oh, like, I don't have any coaches on my team, so there's no way this applies to me. Well, it might apply to you because you're missing out on, these coaches being added to teams being placed on the same leg as you. Okay, does that make sense to you guys? Do you feel like you're getting that? Okay. I know it's like very like nitty gritty, but I feel like once you get that, like you have to take 200 from this leg, 100 from this leg, and that makes a cycle, then it makes a little bit more sense. Okay. All right. So let's talk a little bit of strategy. And this is the last thing that I'm going to kind of hit on tonight. This is my strategy. You might watch a ton of other videos of other coaches that have other strategies, but this is how I try to teach my coaches to build their team, okay? So the first thing that they do is I tell them to sign up their first coach on their strong leg. I will explain that another day, but basically if you're like strong leg, I thought we had the right and left legs. Well, one of those is your strong leg because one of them is attached to your coach, okay? Your strong leg is going to be that leg that you have coaches on there that you have no idea who they are, okay? So that's what makes it strong. It's because there's coaches over there. So for example, my right leg is technically my strong leg because the first person on my right leg is a girl named Michelle. And she is not my coach. She's from up above, okay? So that's how I know that that's my technical strong leg, my right leg is. Okay, so I always tell them to sign up their first coach, as long as they're not their spouse, on their strong leg, okay? If it is their spouse, I tell them to sign that spouse up on their weak leg. If you did not do this, it's okay. It's not the end of the world, I promise. Like, do not go cancel your spouse and put them on your other leg. Like, you are fine where they are. This is a 1 year, 2 year, 3 year down the road kind of plan, okay? So sign up spouse or family member on your weak leg. For me, like I said, I didn't even know Zach at the time, so I signed up my mom, and she is on my weak leg, and she's still over there. She goes in and out of being active, but I still have her because she is in a great spot on my placement, okay? So if I were to ever build my mom, she has people like Elena, Courtney Harden, my husband, my second business center. She has all of these people in her downline that are going to be funneling up volume to her, okay? So I'm going to keep her right there. I am never going to delete her. She will never cancel her coach membership because I will make sure she doesn't. And that's why I have you put your spouse on your weak leg. They need to be at the top, okay? Even if you don't want to build them right now, just keep them there. It's worth the $15 a month. I promise. I promise it will be, okay? So congrats if you do that. You have one person on one leg, another coach on another leg. You are an Emerald coach, okay? Remember I said 2 coaches, 1 on each leg. Okay. My next strategy is to switch from leg to leg. So switch from your left to right, left to right, left to right, until you have 4 coaches on each leg, okay? And the reason for that is you're starting to build to diamond, okay? So you want those 4 coaches on each leg. I just do back and forth on that. There's really no super strategy, except for if you have someone who's a business builder, you want them on the opposite leg as your spouse, okay? So for example, I had my one business builder, Nikki, was on the opposite leg of my mom. So I actually my mom signed up after Nikki because Nikki was my first coach. And so I put my mom on the opposite leg of her because I knew she was going to get to Emerald someday. Okay. Sign up any discount coaches to your spouse or that family member. So once you get those 4 on this leg, 4 on this leg, then you're going to start putting coaches underneath your spouse so that you can get them to Emerald. Okay. And then you want to help your coaches hit Emerald by doing steps 1 and 2. You want to duplicate that process. And once you have that, congrats, you are a diamond coach. I'm making this seem really simple, aren't I? It's pretty basic in actuality. Okay, next, and I find a lot of diamonds get here and they stop. So they're like, oh, I hit diamond, I'm done. No, you want to have a stable diamond because otherwise you will lose that rank quicker than that, okay? So in order to keep these ranks, these coaches have to be active, which means that they have to have at least 50 personal volume points. So my next strategy is to build a stable diamond by having at least 2 emeralds on each leg and at least 6 active coaches on each leg. That's when I know I am pretty stable, okay? So I'm looking up at mine right now, and Zach is one of the diamonds on the team, and I have 1 emerald over here and 1 emerald over here. So I do not consider him a stable diamond, and he lost his diamond last week. Another business center that I have 3 emeralds on one leg and 2 emeralds on another leg. That's a pretty stable diamond. I'm probably not going to lose that one. Okay, I see someone had a comment maybe. Once a coach is signed up, can you move them to a different leg at all within a certain time frame? I think you can within 5 days of signing them up. I think it's 5. You have 5 days to switch. But after those 5 days, they usually don't let you switch them to a different leg. Okay. And then your next strategy is to help your emeralds hit diamond. So you'll see that this process, like once you kind of figure it out, then it's your turn to start teaching others how to do this. Okay. And then once you have a diamond, congrats, you are a star diamond coach, which has a lot of fun that we'll talk about. Okay. So if I sign up my fiance, does he have to buy anything? So Maureen, with that, To sign up someone as a coach, you do have to either purchase a challenge pack or pay the $40 coach, like the sign up fee. So if you do a challenge pack, that sign up fee is waived, but you could just sign them up for the $40 and they would sign up then. Okay, so kind of have to think through that of what's the best circumstance for that. Let me think of what else I can say. But if you are ordering like Energize or Recover or anything like that, like you can keep him active as an active coach by ordering those things, those goodies through him instead of through yours, because it's still going to have that discount. You'll actually get the volume in your business center. So we can talk a little bit more personally about when's a good time to sign him up also. But if you have a mom who's interested, I would talk to her about it for sure. Okay, so with this, and I think this is one of Courtney's questions, was about opening a second business center. So for some of you guys, this is going to be slightly overwhelming, but I do want to hit on it real quick because I want to show you that bigger picture kind of thing. Okay, so whenever you have what's called 2-star diamond, and that means that you have a diamond coach on one leg and a diamond coach on the other leg, you'll notice that everything is always equal. You always want your left leg and your right leg to be equal. You know, if you get an emerald over here, you want an emerald over here. If you get a diamond over here, you want a diamond over here. Okay, so you have 2 diamonds in your business center. You can open up what's called a second business center. Okay, so we'll talk a little bit about strategy with that. I placed my second business center under Zach on his what's called weak leg. Okay, all of my new customers go through that second business center, so they still show up as Success Club points for me in my first business center, but the commission goes to what's called my second business center. Okay, so let me just like kind of blow your mind a little bit about this. I'm going to give you just one example of this and just kind of put it on your radar as, if not the end of this year goal, for sure the end of next year's goal. Okay, so I get the commission from new challenge packs or Shakeology or whatever people Beachbody on Demand. That shows up in my second business center. That volume goes up to Zach. And then that volume also goes up to me. Okay, so do you see it's kind of like a triple whammy of like commission, volume, volume. And so, for example, last week, I think it was, so this is just last week, I had 1,121 team volume from my second business center. So that was from like new orders or Shakeology recurring orders or whatever it was. So that went to Zach's business center and mine. So this is why that spouse is so important to be on there. So I made, if you see at the bottom here, $587 in commission in that second business center. Plus, just from this volume, Zach got a $90 in team cycle bonuses. Plus, just in this volume, my first business center got $180. So just by having that second business center and having my spouse placed underneath me on my weak leg and me right here, that is what the income was just by having that second business center and having team volume from that second business center. And that's in 1 week. Does that blow your mind? Like, that blows my mind. It's so crazy, the possibility. And this happened in 3 years, you guys. Like, this is so possible for you. It's not even funny. So I just want to kind of show you that, like, bigger picture with that, because I know Courtney kind of asked a little bit about that also. Okay. So with that, questions that you guys have, anything like that, I would love to answer. So you're welcome to take yourself off mute. No, everybody's just like, what just happened? All right. I feel like Harden had some questions, but she is like frozen right now. Okay, absolutely no questions. You understand the ranks, you understand volume, you understand all of that stuff. Paige does. Okay. Paige has been seeing the big picture here lately. She's been sending me some goals for sure. Okay.